Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearth, where we like to dive into whatever topic comes to mind each and every week. Every week we have an installment on mental health because it's important, man. You got to check on your people. You got to check on your people and have your people check on you. It is important, man. It's important to me that we continue to have discussions on mental health because it's just not talked about enough. Now we're going to cue the intro. I like to go ahead and take care of these pleasantries for all those who power Lawn Dude Unearth and help us to bring this content to you each and every week. Now, if you're looking for a high quality, eco conscious apparel that reps your passion for the outdoors, you need to check out Finprint Apparel. And don't forget to use our code, man, DUDE10. Once again, DUDE 10 at checkout will save you 10%. Again, that's Finprint Apparel. They will give you a good little splash on your uniforms. If you haven't checked out our video of how different our uniforms are, go check it out right now, either on YouTube or Instagram. Also, I'd like to go ahead and shout out the fact that we're powered by Petra Tools, who is bringing you top-tier equipment to keep your lawn game strong. Whether you need sprayers, various lawn landscape products, or battery-powered solutions, Petra Tools has you covered. And they also have like mulch glue, and they got the lawn paint. They got a little bit of everything, man. Just go check out their website. Support the brands that support us, man. These are the brands that support Lawn Dude Unearth. I like to keep growing as a company, as a podcast. So I definitely have no problem shouting out those who decided to give us the opportunity. And we beyond appreciate it. Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearth. This is the realest podcast for anyone, not just in the lawn and landscape industry, but I would say the service industry in general, man. You know, anyone who's out here grinding on a regular basis, this podcast is for you. Anyone who's trying to excel at not just, running a business, not just excel at working a job in the service industry, but excel at, being a child of God, a parent, a spouse, brother, uncle, son, sibling, whatever, you know what I mean? Anyone who just wants to excel in life, this is the podcast for you. So, today we're talking about something that everyone in, I would say, the service industry deals with, in particular lawn care operators know too well. Rain delays. Yeah, man. Talking about those soggy, muddy, schedule wrecking curveballs that come from the sky and mess with your momentum. Like, they legit mess with your momentum. But you need it to rain. I know in my industry, we need it to rain. So that's why I say I really don't complain about it when it happens. I just adjust. We'll get into how I just dealt with the rain days the last few weeks because every week we've had a significant rain day. You know, one whole day of rain out. So it's just the reality of rain delays, man. I don't care how fancy your mower is, man, or how many yards you've got lined up. When the rain starts falling hard, Mother Nature becomes the boss, man. Mother Nature shows that, she's in charge. Really, I'm going to sit here and take it up a level and say, God shows that he's in charge. So for people like me, solo operators, or even small crews, it becomes frustrating. Because I know in my case, I legit have it set up to where one person can take care of the whole route. Obviously, because that's what I do. So when you get a rain day, a lot of times I have to combine two routes into one day. And best believe it still gets done, but it is grueling. I'm coming off a couple days right now of playing catch up, and my body is feeling it right now. So I would have to say, I would have to say, I don't know if you could hear that, but I just have music going on in my ears with these headphones on. So this is real life, folks. I'm no actor. I'm just, I'm here driving my truck, recording a podcast with my Bluetooth headset on right now. But yeah, man, you might lose a whole day. You might even lose two. By the grace of God, I haven't had to lose two, probably because I'm not average. If it's sprinkling a lot of times, I'll continue to go out. Um, this is a time where your phone's gonna be ringing. If you don't have communication, that is. I do have communication. I don't get the "Are you still coming today?" I mean, it's rare that I do. Even the new clients, I usually tell them ahead of time when I'm onboarding them how we go about our process. So it's tempting to push through, and for me, like I said, I'm not average. I'm a different animal, man. I will go out a lot of times and push through. I will definitely go out and cut the wet lawns, and guess what? I don't even make damage on the properties. Why? Because I know my properties at this point. There are some where I might have to grab the 30 and, take care of a section. No problem. But I've been blessed with the equipment to be able to float over the top of these wet properties. And people always call BS to that, but that's not the case. If you ever operated one of those ZKs on duals, which I have a 72-inch ZK with the dual wheel kit, which is funny because I am definitely the only person in Northern Virginia that I've seen with this mower. They really do float over the wet properties, and I mean, like, knock on wood, I haven't gotten that machine stuck, no matter how wet, how swampy the area has been. Now, if you ever get a chance, you can see a video where Stanley the Dirt Monkey, where he on YouTube, I don't know how you don't know who he is. If he's not there already, he's about to be the first one in our industry to get 1,000,000 subs. But anyways, he tests the mess out of every piece of equipment he gets. He has one of those dually mowers, and he done tested out in swamp areas, everything. That's why when I would like get a piece of equipment that he happened to have tested, I'm definitely watching that video. Anyways, another thing I would say is communication is key, man. Clear communication. It's just like being in a relationship, especially for those that are married and understand this, or just in a relationship in general. I know people don't like to hear this, but communication is the key. Well, it's the same thing when you have clients. So when I see rain in the forecast, I keep studying it. I study it. I study it to see when the break's going to be, so on and so forth. After it starts raining, that's when I start to let my clients know ahead of time, that there may be delays and timing that they're used to us coming out, the day they're used to us coming out, and there are some wet areas that might even get skipped. I straight up tell them that in the email. So like, if you got a whole backyard that gets waterlogged, we're skipping the whole backyard that week. I already have my properties that are like that. And to a lot of these clients, I don't even have to send an email anymore. I've had them for so long that they know I'm going to skip that area whenever it's wet. What kills me, though, is when it's wet for multiple weeks and that area has to get taken care of. That's when I end up having to go in there with a weed whacker, you know, to at least knock it down. So some of them, it's rare, but some of them will actually have to completely be rescheduled to another week. But like I said, it is rare just for the simple fact that I like to keep everybody on schedule. And with all the rain mixed with applications, last thing you want to do is reschedule people most of the time. Or at least it's the way that I look at it. So I like to keep it simple and I like to keep it professional when I'm emailing a client. Always. So one thing I say is you stay productive. Don't lose the whole doggone day, man. You know, let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's talk about when it rains. Just because you can't mow doesn't mean you can't grow. I'll say that again for the people in the back that did not hear that. Just because you can't mow doesn't mean that you can't grow. So one thing I learned early on is you need to use that time to catch up on admin work, estimates, invoices, scheduling. Sharpen your blades. Maybe clean your equipment, restock supplies. You know what I mean? Post some content. Let the folks know that you're still active. I'm not very good at this one myself because I do get pretty busy. Or just breathe. You know, Rest can be productivity as well. I like to rest and relax, and I know anyone around me is about to say, man, he don't rest. That's true, but if I get to relax and hang out with my wife, kids, especially while the kids in school, or if I get to drop off, my kids at school and pick them up in the afternoon because it's a rain day, then that's super productive to me. Heck, that's better than going to work. You know what I mean? Being able to hang out with those who I love the most is always a blessing. So one thing to know is that the hustle never stops. But sometimes the best move is to reset. It's a mental game. Know that these rain days are a mental game. You know what I mean? Rain delays, they can really mess with your head, especially when you book solid and every day you start to feel like you're falling behind or even that you're failing. We all have been here. Like I said, I'm not better than anyone else. I've definitely been here. And I can sit here and tell you, guess what, man? You're not failing. You're not failing. If you are booked and it's raining, you're definitely not failing because guess what? That rain is just going to keep providing business for you. And what we don't seem to ever think about, including myself included in my earlier days, is your clients can see that it's raining. If you have a client that can't see that it's raining and is acting like they don't know that it's raining and their lawn is saturated and they still want you out right then and there, that moment in time, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a client, that's a customer. You need to get rid of that. You need to get rid of that person because your mental needs to be right. You know what I mean? All of us deal with this. It's definitely part of the game. So all y'all need to like give yourself some, what's the word, man? What's the word? You need to give yourself grace. You know what I mean? Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't sit here and think you're lazy. Don't sit here and think that you're not responsible. Don't think that you're slow. Start thinking yourself as strategic. You need to trust your work. You need to trust your clients. You need to trust the process. And a famous saying that I always say, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So next time the clouds roll in, don't panic, man. You need to pivot. You need to plan. And remember, you've built something solid enough to weather the storm. Literally. Weather a little bit of rain. Whoop-de-doo is what you should be saying when you see rain. You know what I mean? You need to thank God whenever you see rain because God bless you with knowing more business. You know what I mean? This time last year we had a drought. Now this year we've had one serious rain day every week, at least one day. You know what? It's frustrating for a schedule. It's frustrating I had to stay out late. Like this week, I had to stay out late Thursday up until my daughter's practice. As you know, if you know, you know. I don't miss anything. And today being Friday, so yesterday I did what I do. I did 22 mows, and I'm talking about once I got the number, I had an HOA within that first 12, maybe. And then once I got to number 13, it was my multi-acreage properties up until 22. Up until then. So I had 22 properties yesterday. I did 23 or 24 today. And that, people always call BS because I say I do these big properties. I have a 72-inch mower that I'm blessed to have, and I know my properties. I know how to be efficient. And today happened to be a day when I was catching up on some mows, but I was also doing a lot of applications, which, as you know, don't take that long. Anyways, if you found any of this helpful, and please make sure you follow Lawn Dude on Earth. Make sure you share the show for those who may need to hear this. And please be sure to review the show. This is real time, man. I got people turning out in front of me. Welcome to the DMV, I say. I'm gonna be honest though, I don't get mad at situations like that. I more so get upset when my wife or kids are in the vehicle. So you guys take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Lawn Dude on Earth. We talk about all kinds of things here. The good stuff, the tough stuff, and everything in between. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and have a blessed day.